Welcome into the Cup Check Podcast. My name's Nate. This is my co-host Bailey. We're really happy to have you in today. We've got a great video coming your way. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Really excited. We got another mock draft coming your guys' way. Have been taking a short hiatus last few days. You want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, we actually took a little bit of a road trip, as you guys may have seen in our previous videos. Bailey's out for the summer. He's from California, so we had to get him a little bit out there as far as like the East Coast goes. We took a trip to Boston, also checked out NYC, checked out Cooperstown. MLB Hall of Fame is there if you don't know that. And then Springfield, Massachusetts is actually where the NBA Hall of Fame is. So been gone for a little bit. We've also been working with a little bit of a TikTok shadow ban. If you know anything about that, please let us know in the comments, but we're happy to be back.
Yeah, definitely happy to be back, ready to get back on it, give you guys some new content. Definitely kind of frustrating experiencing the shadow ban for the first time. Definitely give us some advice if you have down below in the comments, because we're trying to figure out what we did wrong. Apparently they said we had like tobacco and alcohol in our last video, so I don't know. I was thinking earlier it might have been like my t-shirt, because I have some shirts that are like beer brands, and maybe I had a shirt on in the video. I don't really know. TikTok is very algorithm based, so I think it could have some wonky stuff, but yeah, very strict in a lot of departments, and then you'll see some of the most wild things allowed on the For You page.
Right, and we were able to grow our channel a ton, especially at a New York Yankees game. The Yankees actually beat down on the Tampa Bay Rays, which was awesome, but we used to spend a lot of the time meeting some new people, promoting the content. I think we gained 40 new subscribers on YouTube, so if you're one of those people, go comment in the comments right now. Let us know that you saw us at Yankee Stadium. Give you a little bit of a shout out there.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. It was definitely fun meeting a lot of you guys at the game. Not an experience that I was used to, getting to know a whole bunch of new people at that stadium, so it was a super fun day.
And if you know who you are, clap it up.
Clap it up, clap it up, clap it
up. Clap it up, clap it up.
Yep.
Last update I'll give you is we have some really exciting content coming as far as fantasy football goes. This video is actually in honor of a comment. Someone said they wanted to see more fantasy football content. Someone told us in person they wanted to see it. We've got something in the works for fantasy football that we're hoping to get done. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later into this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But it may involve some of your favorite YouTube sports creators, so it may be up your alley.
Yeah, definitely getting into contact with some people and working on some things behind the scenes. So we're super excited to reveal that to you when it's time. So we're excited about it. We got some big things coming.
NFL updates around the league. Number one, Joe Burrow got a haircut.
Slim Shiesty, baby.
Slim Shiesty. I think he should actually do like tiger stripe designs in his head for the Bengal. I know a lot of people do leopard a lot of the time, but I really can't see Trevor Lawrence doing that the way Joe Burrow could pull it off.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd put like tiger stripes across your head. It'd kind of be like Chargers bolt placing, but I don't know. Definitely an interesting haircut.
Yeah, maybe he was worried about too many girls on him, and he wanted to see which ones were actually real, because he is single now. So
yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do when you're Joe Burrow to keep the ladies away.
Like I sometimes let girls know when I'm out at the bar or the club, I'm actually 5'9", just to see how they react. It also makes homeboy that told her that he was 6 foot 5 minutes ago look really, really bad.
Yeah, now that I see something like that happening, I'll walk into a middle of a bar and say, hey, I'm gonna shave my head and bleach it just to see like if any girls, please don't do that, I love your hair.
Yeah, some girls actually really like that. Like Maddie Muffintop likes that a lot.
That is true. Definitely a weird taste of attractiveness for the haircut department, but you know, if that's your thing, that's your thing, you know.
Another update around the league, Justin Jefferson has been sliding down fantasy draft boards a little bit. Kind of obvious because of Jordan Addison and his whole debacle. If you haven't heard about that, make sure you check out our last video with the boys in the woods. And
watched a couple of the episodes of Receiver today on the way back.
We did.
Not that I was Netflixing driving. He was the passenger today.
We were Netflixing chilling.
We were actually hooping at the Basketball Hall of Fame, and Nate rolled his ankle, so I had to drive home. Yeah. And I already watched the first 2 episodes, so he let the first play while I listened with him. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, rolled the angle. I was trying to show off a little bit, because if you've never been there before, a lot of people haven't. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but they have an exhibit at the end where they show all the different hoops throughout the history. You get to shoot basketballs on it, and then just a basketball court. I'm sure a lot of people like doing that. Like basketball is one of those games you got to take a shot or two, right? Unk comes off the bench, has to take a shot. Let me show you how I did it back in my day. And I was trying to dunk in slides, and I did put one down, a little bit of a rim graze, but
in slides too.
But rolled the ankle pretty bad, and probably won't try that again.
Shooting around today, I realized it's a good thing I don't play basketball anymore for college, because, you know, probably wouldn't be able to hold my own anymore, but
But what was crazy is you were dunking on a 9-foot hoop. They had like 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot. You were dunking on the 9-foot hoop, and all the kids watching, like, they're high schoolers. They're like, oh my God, they're so impressed. I was like, you could tell these guys like don't play with good basketball players, because 9-foot dunking, no offense, it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, I definitely felt like Yao Ming around those kids. They were giving me advice on how to jump, and I was like, I'm a Caucasian, I can't jump, and it's a 9-foot hoop, but I was pretending like I knew what I was talking about, giving them some advice, so it was a cool feeling, for sure.
What was your favorite part about the NBA Hall of Fame, favorite part about the MLB Hall of Fame?
I would say my favorite part about the NBA Hall of Fame is just seeing all the Brittany Griner stuff. I just love seeing Brittany Griner whenever I'm walking through the Hall of Fame.
Literally, right? There's no Angel Reese, though. Caitlin Clark was there.
Yeah, the Bayou Barbie wasn't really there much.
Bayou Bum Bar. Yeah, Bayou Bum Bar. I didn't see her at all. It might have been a copyright issue with Warner Bros.
Maybe, yeah, with that new NIL stuff.
Right, the new NIL stuff. But Caitlin Clark was there. I got to stand next to a life-size replica of her, and I would break her in a one-on-one game.
No comment.
Yeah. My favorite part of the Basketball Hall of Fame, honestly, was how big Shaq's shoe was. Shaq had a couple of his shoes, and now that I see how big his shoes are, I understand why the ladies love him, if you know what I mean.
I would say boats, but it was more like a ship. You could fill up a bathtub with his shoe. So super large
Shaq
feet.
was filling up lots of stuff as far as endorsements go with all his commercials, because if you haven't ever heard, Shaq spent all his first check endorsement like right away on some dumb stuff. So now he's basically paired up with every company on the planet, it seems.
Yeah, especially looking back on his shoes. I forgot he had his own brand of shoes, and it was the most ugly, so much plastic around the outside of the shoe.
But shout out Shaq, because he never made them expensive.
True.
He was like the Walmart brand dude.
I think he was making shoes with AND1 or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But kind of that price range, if you know AND1, Walmart. I get my socks from AND1. They're like $10 for like 12 pairs. It's a great deal. So no shame in that game for sure. But yeah, shout out Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, we also were able to go to the Cooperstown Hall of Fame for baseball. Was walking through the streets. Really cool city, by the way. Yeah. A lot of people outside of shops. We were trying to see Pete Rose. He was signing autographs over there. Pete Rose, if you're watching this, I actually didn't want to meet you because I don't think you're a nice person, but you're a great Reds player.
Pete Rose had to make the Hall of Fame ceremony because the Hall of Fame ceremony was going on that day. He had to make it about himself, but he was actually down the street with a bunch of bums.
Signing autographs during the Hall of Fame commencement speeches, and he had a dude like guarding him so no one walked close enough to him, and there's like 4 people in the shop. It's like, dude, no one's trying to do that. But anyway, some people outside of that shop Pete Rose was signing autographs out of. They were talking baseball, and Nate was like, hey, should I tell him, like, you know, this guy who's pointing to me that's Anthony Rizzo? And the guy was like, oh my gosh, like shook my hand. I'm like, yeah, man, Anthony Rizzo. And he's like, dude, how's your arm? Like, I heard your elbow or something. I was like, oh yeah, my elbow is hurt. And
it helps that you knew Ben Rice because you sold that pretty well. You're like, oh, they brought up a AA guy.
Yeah, I was like, they brought up Ben Rice to replace me. He's hit a few dingers now, so, you know, he's doing pretty good. But
honestly, the way the Yankees are playing, you probably could play for them right now.
That is true. Definitely true. He asked me to sign one of his baseballs. So my first experience autographing a baseball for a fan. Hopefully the next time I do it, it'll be for a Cup Check fan that actually knows who I am.
Bring your cups. If you have an old jockstrap, I will sign that.
We will sign. Yeah, we'll sign it while you're wearing it. We don't care.
Literally. So, I'll sign what's underneath it.
Yeah, but anyway, you know, we would appreciate you guys if you come and see us. So definitely if you see us, say what's up. We're trying not to let the fame get to us. Sometimes, you know, just give us some grace, but definitely come up and say hi.
My favorite part was probably actually getting to see the commencement of, it was Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, some manager, and then Joe Mauer. And I didn't know Rockies fans existed, but there were so many Rockies fans there. It was
never seen a Rockies fan in my life, but
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know they had an actual fan base, so it was impressive.
Yeah, for sure. The Todd Father.
Today we're doing a 16-round mock draft. We're doing the full shabam, PPR, 12-team. I'm drafting from the 11 spot. Bailey's drafting from the 6 spot.
6. Drake reference, sorry.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut that out.
Wait, can we not do Drake references anymore?
No.
Because I still like Drake.
The NBA Hall of Fame had a display for celebrities that are super fans, and Drake was one of them. And I was like, 1, he's kind of a bandwagon. 2, can we really have that around these children?
It's a good point you make because, you know, I think Drake is one of those guys that doesn't know the line between too comfortable and not.
Right, say Drake.
Yeah, say Drake. I hear you like him young.
Moving on.
I was hoping you'd finish that, but it's okay.
I don't know anything about Cell Block 1. That's why I didn't finish it.
It's good. I didn't assume you did.
We're going to talk a little bit about picks as we go on. If you're listening to the podcast, tune into our YouTube channel. Go check that out. We have the full visual. We're on Sleeper right now, so you can actually see all the picks drafted. We're going to do our best to try to verbalize everything to you if you're only listening to it, because I know a lot of you only listen to the audio, but feel free to go check us out on YouTube if you want to see the full visual as well.
Absolutely. We're going to start this draft here. We're going half PPR 12 team. All right, the mock draft begins. CMC going
Shocker.
first. Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 3.
That's kind of crazy.
And then we got Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb. And now it's me.
Yeah, a little bit of a shocker with Amon-Ra going 3. Like Bailey said, I checked out receiver, and that dude speaks German. I am not shocked by the way that guy sounds. He's very goofy.
And you can definitely tell he's not too particular with the flow of his language English-wise, because he is also focused on speaking German to his mother. So I'll give him some grace there, because he definitely does sound goofy whenever he references the 16 receivers that were drafted before him. Every time he speaks. Pretty strong built guy. I guess his dad was a big body.
Yeah, his dad was a unit, honestly. He had that thing on him, low-key.
Yeah, pause. So this is a no-brainer for me. I'm not going to think too much into it. Obviously, Nate referenced earlier that Justin Jefferson was sliding down draft boards. So I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson here, but I will say my other option would be Bijan Robinson, just because of Kirk Cousins coming in, explosiveness, dump off, a lot of yak with Bijan, but easy choice here. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm not as big on Bijan. Just I think I have a bad experience with him last year being my first round pick. He kind of took a little bit of time to get going. But we have Breece Hall going after Jefferson. There goes Bijan, A.J. Brown after him. Jahmyr Gibbs, your boy.
Jahmyr Gibbs at 10 is pretty crazy to me. I got him as a top 3 running back.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Interesting. That's your sleeper.
I don't know if too many people view Jahmyr Gibbs as a sleeper. I think he's definitely going to become the alpha running back this year, and a lot of others do. But he is varying. I could see him in a lot of drafts going as early at the 7 spot where Breece Hall is at. I'm definitely higher on Breece Hall, though, than I am Jahmyr Gibbs for sure.
This one's pretty easy of a pick for me. I don't love the idea just because I took this guy in the 2nd round, actually, last year in one of my leagues. He killed me. He didn't kill me, actually. Aaron Rodgers killed him. But I'm going to go Garrett Wilson here. I'm not as big on taking a running back this early, especially if it's JT and Saquon. I was actually thinking about Marvin Harrison. I wasn't considering Puka.
Yeah, definitely questionable pick there. I can't argue with it. You got one of the best quarterbacks throwing to him. We got Jonathan Taylor going at the turn, and then Saquon Barkley following him. And you're back on the clock. I'm back on the clock, and there's 2 players that I love at this spot. Marvin Harrison, Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams was Kyren the team last year for me in fantasy, and I also might be a dad after that joke. But I think Marvin Harrison is going to surprise a lot of people. Even though he's projected as a 2nd-round pick here, I think he has the potential to be wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 fantasy-wise this year. But I think Kyren Williams is just getting fed the ball. And the thing I love about Kyren Williams, here's a little bit of draft insight for you. He's the most targeted running back, at least last year he was, as far as pass catching goes. And he had the highest volume percentage of running the football. So those are 2 obviously very good things you want in a fantasy player. I think they brought in rookie Audrey Estime this year. I'm not really fearful for Kyren Williams getting, especially after what he did last year. I think he owns that job until he proves otherwise. Yeah, I definitely don't think I'm as bullish on Kyren Williams taking that RB1 spot just because I saw what Blake Corum did in college with Michigan. I don't think...
Oh, it's Blake Corum, not Audrey Estime?
Yeah, it's Blake from Michigan, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so they got Blake Corum. I'm a huge Blake Corum fan. And I'm looking, man, Marvin Harrison right before me. That definitely would have been my pick. I'm also super bullish on Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. And then we also talked about Jayden Daniels. We'll probably get into him later.
Yeah, I'm not big on Jayden Daniels winning Rookie of the Year, but you are.
I just think Bryce Young left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths when it came to smaller quarterbacks. But, I mean, we've seen Kyler Murray win Rookie of the Year. So I think Heisman winner, he's talented.
He reminds me of RG3 a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Have you seen the picture of his elbow?
When he throws?
Yeah, like
that bone
pops out.
I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned that every time he gets hit, he looks like a cartoon character. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
I think he could be injured like week 1.
It doesn't matter what your elbow looks like as long as you can keep throwing it, but definitely as a small dude, makes that helmet look big on him.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Life lesson number 1, gentlemen. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. It matters how it performs, if you know what I mean. And sometimes we can't look good or perform well.
This is true.
Then we deserve a second chance. Josh Allen on the top of the board for you here, Bailey. You're not big on quarterbacks really, though.
Yeah, definitely not. You want to talk about that a little bit? Definitely not big for me, at least, even taking them in the first 3 rounds. Yeah. Unless it's like Allen or Mahomes. But even then,
yeah, honestly, we went into it a little bit last video, so I won't beat the dead horse too much. But we were talking earlier, our draft last year as a friend group, I let a lot of teams get their second quarterback before I took my first quarterback. I think I took Goff second to last round, and then I took whoever my backup was, I don't remember who it was, in the last round. Just because, honestly, if you don't get one of the elite guys, I think you wait. And I honestly am not reaching. I'm not even taking someone at an average ADP. Like, if Josh Allen's there in the 4th, I'm going to take him. But I'm not. The quarterback margin is just so small, and I think people prove time and time again it will lose you a championship if you don't have a solid quarterback, but it's really hard to have one of the worst quarterbacks. Like, there's so many guys that are serviceable. So
yeah, you got to do a lot to not have a quarterback on your team. You almost did it last year, but hey, you finished in second. So
0.1 points away.
Jared Goff in what round was it?
Jared Goff in like the 12th or 13th.
Round,
yeah.
But with my pick, I'm obviously not going to pick Josh Allen here. My toss-up is Travis Etienne and Chris Olave. I already picked Jefferson. I'm obviously going to go Etienne here. I'm a huge Etienne fan. I'm not worried about Tank Bigsby, is it?
Tank Bigsby. No one's worried. No one's tripping over Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, so especially in the second round.
Yeah, we talked about Travis Etienne a little bit earlier today, too.
Yeah, for sure. We got Kelsey going in the second.
First tight end off the board, Laporta.
Man.
Thoughts on that, Bailey?
I am not super big on Laporta. I think he'll be fine, especially for a second rounder. He's not going to bust, but
yeah.
I mean,
pause.
Laporta, Kelsey, they're going to get the receptions. I think hopefully Laporta will get as much red zone looks as he did last year. To an extent, he's not going to match what he did last year, I don't think, especially with J-Mo being back all year.
Yeah.
It's another red zone target. But
I like the value in the second, though. I don't love Travis Kelsey's value in the second, especially after decline in play last year. And he's, kind of got that woman holding him down a little bit. So
yeah, he's pushing 35 years old. So.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is.
Dude, he's the same age as Gronk. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's Kelsey, though. I mean, he's never been known for his speed or anything. He just finds holes, great chemistry with Mahomes. But we have Chris Olave going after Kelsey. We got Achane and then Josh Allen right at the end of the second. And then we have AIYUK at the turn beginning in the first. Derrick Henry going in the third. That's
I like Derrick Henry.
Value. I would say so. Josh Jacobs, very on Josh Jacobs this year.
Yeah,
especially with the Raiders. I mean, they gave him how many touches? And
they gave him a lot of touches. And yeah, I'm not big on him. A little bit on AIYUK, though. I wasn't as big on him when we did our last video. I watched a little bit of receiver. And also, ESPN released their list of the top 5 receivers who graded the highest. As far as just a pure analytical, they put it into a simulation type thing. Well, who had the best season last year from an objective statistical measure, not any opinion based? And AIYUK was number 1 on that list. I didn't realize he had as good of a year as he did. Obviously, the question mark with AIYUK is where is he playing and how happy is he? But it was a little bit of insight as far as that go. And I took Samuel Debo last draft as well, and I learned a little bit about him in that receiver documentary too, and how valuable he is to the Niners. And if he can stay healthy, I'm a little bit higher on him right now too as well.
Yeah, definitely just the whole idea that the Niners locker room and organization has for Debo. I mean, he's kind of the nucleus of the offense, it seems like.
Yeah.
Especially when the quarterback talks about him. So everything they do goes through him. I don't think you've gotten to the episode yet where the Bengals killed the Niners and they were talking about it. And they said one of the main reasons we feel like we struggled was because we didn't have Debo. And
it wasn't very Debo-ish.
Everything we do in that offense runs through Debo most of the time. And if he's not there, it doesn't work, if that makes sense. So definitely encouraging for Debo Samuel owners in fantasy if you have him in keeper leagues, and also people who are looking to draft him. So I got my eye on Debo Samuel more so, and I'm a lot more confident in him after hearing that on the Netflix series. So I will say that. But for my pick, I'm easily going to go with Mike Evans. Other choices were Hurts, Pacheco, Diggs, Waddle, who's always hurt.
Yeah.
Very easy for me.
That's an easy pick.
Re-signed with the Buccaneers along with Baker Mayfield. You see that connection going. So
yeah, I don't like any of these picks coming off the board. Here goes Pacheco, Mahomes, Hurts, Diggs. I don't like any of those. And that leaves me to clean up the garbage, and I still got some garbage here. I'm not a big Jalen Waddle guy. I love DJ Moore as a player. I'm a little concerned about the ball sharing in that offense. It might get passed around a little bit too much. I could go quarterback here with Lamar. Don't love it. Man, this is tough for me. I'm not going to lie.
Pushing the 4th round, I mean, I think you could wait for Lamar in the 4th, but I know how you draft. I don't think you like drafting quarterbacks inside of the 7 rounds, first 7 rounds. So
yeah, honestly, I like some of these guys at the lower part of the board: Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman. I'm gonna get at least one of them. My debate right now is: do I take 2 of them because I could get probably 2 of those guys, or do I take a safe guy? Because I think DK, Cooper, Pittman are safe.
Yeah,
I think Malik Neighbors could very well be a top 10 fantasy receiver, but I also think he could bust. So
absolutely,
I guess I am trying to decide if I want to go a little bit riskier here or play it safe.
Some of the players I'm looking at, DJ Moore and also Michael Pittman, I think a lot of people see rookies coming in Michael Pittman's situation. There's A.D. Mitchell, and they could say, oh, it's going to take a lot away from Pittman. It's actually not. It's going to open him up a lot. There's obviously going to be games when you have receivers with tandems, but in fantasy, it's always better when Pittman was kind of an outlier in that sense, where he didn't have a great wide receiver too, and he was producing. But
Alec Pierce, I think it was.
Yeah, Alec Pierce. Maybe not so much an outlier because Alec Pierce was balling a little bit. So
You do this every draft. You kind of convinced me right there. So I'm gonna go Pittman here. And
I was just gonna say I want to say something, but I don't because last time I'm just helping you draft. But
you do this, but it's situational though because I am a Pittman fan. It's just the way the board fell right here. I don't love reaching that many picks down, but I usually play based on how I think other people are going to draft, and I'm going to just take who I think is probably the best player available right now. I'm going to take Pittman, and I'll get DK or Cooper on the way back.
All right, we got Pittman coming up at the turn, and then Waddle following, and Rachaad White.
Now I got the choice between both of them.
I think it's safe to say you didn't want either of those guys.
No, I didn't want either of those guys. Now, this is the thing, is normally I would go off of unintangible factors here because I have 2 receivers. I would probably go between Cooper Kupp and DK. I would look at the bye weeks.
For me, I have to admit I never look at bye weeks when I draft. If that's a bad thing, I don't know. I've never been in the situation where I've had more than 3 players not available in a week because of buys. There's always that one, but if I'm able to get all the guys I want, I'm almost willing to have 3 guys not available for me for a week.
Yeah, and the bye week did nothing for me on this anyway. So I understand that logic. It starts to get a little bit like if you're hammering, if you're trying to stack, we talked a little bit about Bailey likes to stack. I don't love stacking. One of the reasons being because the bye weeks start to add up. If you stack and then you have another player, it just creates an easy loss. And you could very easily say like, oh, I'm balling every week. But I'm a big believer that every week matters. And every week does matter. And when you're playing in a league especially if you're playing in a league that only puts 6 teams in. I hate leagues that do that, by the way. But even if it's only 8 teams.
So stupid.
Yeah, like I want people to play. You know, I want the chance for the 1 seed to get upset. Just because I think this guy has a higher ceiling, I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp here.
Wow, I'm definitely surprised by that. It is in the 4th round, though, so I understand where you're coming from. I think Puka Nacua will be the alpha receiver after this year, though.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, between him and DK, they both have solid receivers beside them. Actually, DK even has 2 solid beside him. But, I mean, you're taking a guy, even if Puka Nacua is number 1, like last year Puka Nacua was number 1 and Cooper Kupp was still a start.
Right.
It's one of those things that Stafford likes to throw the ball to wide receivers. So
yeah, definitely. I'm excited for this pick right here because I will have 2 wide receivers and running backs. I see Lamar still available to me in the 4th round we're in right now, which is super enticing.
Yeah, he's the best running back on the board.
Absolutely. But I'm going to go with the 2nd best running back on the board behind Lamar Jackson here. I'm going to go with James Cook.
You love James Cook, man. You like James Cook more than I do as a Bills fan.
We are in half PPR, but the dude catches a lot of balls. So
yeah,
what's not to
He's really good at sucking those balls in.
Sucking them in, absolutely. We got Lamar Jackson finally going right after my pick. We got CJ Stroud. Not as high on Stroud going even in the 4th in this draft.
I think CJ Stroud is going to have a good year. I would not be surprised if CJ Stroud has a very close to identical year as last year. I don't think he's going to have a better year for sure. I don't think he's going to be as good. I think he probably takes a little bit of a step back, but I also don't see him taking a plummet. I don't know. Like, it's the same thing with quarterbacks, right? Like, CJ Stroud might fall in that 3 to 5 range. He might fall in that 5 to 10 range. And if he falls in that 5 to 10 range, it's a reach.
Yeah, definitely. I hate to draft 2 Bills players here. I know this is going to piss you off big time, but give me Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, here's my hot take. Dalton Kincaid is tight end 1 this year at the end of the year, and you got to trust me because I called it on Laporta last year. I think it's a little bit of an overshadow here because Dalton Kincaid is, last season, he was a rookie. He finished with a top 5 most receptions and yards ever for a rookie tight end. Now, obviously, that was overshadowed because Sam Laporta set the record for receptions and yards. It was a great year. Can't take anything away from Dalton Kincaid. They're both great tight ends. Honestly, they were my 2 favorite tight ends coming out of the draft. I also really like Darnell Washington, and he hasn't really performed. But Steelers, I don't even know if they know they have receivers on the team they can throw to. They just can't get anything going.
Also, not too much pass catching for Darnell Washington in his pass. So, I don't know. Great pass blocker. I saw that clip in the combine of him pushing that.
Oh, yeah. It's a big man.
I guess there's more to football than that, but
yeah. Yeah, but I love the pick, Dalton Kincaid. I wouldn't mind the pick in the 4th. If Laporta and Kelsey go in the 2nd, Kincaid in the 4th, I think would be a steal. The fact that Trey McBride went before him, absolutely not. And Kittle went the same round because Kittle just got drafted after 2. Went Higgins, Aaron Jones, Amari Cooper, George Kittle after Bailey picked Kincaid. I don't think Kittle is... I don't trust him in fantasy. We were talking earlier, like he's the type of player where it's going to be a 4-point week one week, it's going to be a 40-point week the next.
Super volatile, yeah.
I don't like those players when it comes to playoffs. I understand, like overall, as far as scoring goes, you're a top 5 scoring tight end, but it's like you're not consistent. And the one thing I'll give Rachaad White credit to last round is he's always consistent. He'll get you 10, 11, 12, very consistent. But like a lot of people, I think, get sucked into George Kittle, 40 points, and it's like, it doesn't matter, dude, because he's going to get 0 for you next week.
Yeah, what are your views on Aaron Jones going in the 5th? I think that's right area for him. He's starting to push age a little bit. Minnesota. He's on Minnesota now.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely knew that. Minnesota.
Don't even feel bad because I wouldn't have known that if I didn't look at the little MIN right here.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it either. Yeah. Aaron Jones, kind of irrelevant anyway.
Aaron Jones kind of falling off, getting pushed back more than his hairline. If you haven't checked that out, you might want to check that out. Trigger warning.
That headband going or the sombrero.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is when Dalvin Cook... this is one of the biggest mysteries to me in the last couple of years. That run game was so good in Minnesota when Dalvin Cook was running the football. Dalvin Cook left, and they couldn't run the football with anyone. But also, Dalvin Cook couldn't run the football with the Jets. So, like, I don't know if it was just a match made in heaven, but I don't trust Aaron Jones going. Like, a team that couldn't run the football, and you're not going to throw in either Saquon, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, maybe CHUBB.
Especially for a fifth round pick. I mean, that's pretty valuable pick. I mean, once you get in the 7th round, I think that's where you can kind of draft players that way.
Yeah.
This is a CPU automated draft, so there's always going to be selections like this, but I will say one of my biggest forewarnings when you are going into a draft with your friends, whether it's in person or online, there's going to be crazy picks like this, and it's going to make your picks way more valuable as long as you can prepare for those drafts. Always prepare for your drafts. The people who prepare for drafts are the ones that win leagues.
Yep.
But that's 50% of it. You got to pay attention to the waiver wire. It's a whole nother story. But.
Right. You got to finesse your league mates in trades. Like Joey GUINTA is really good at that.
Definitely slipping things under the commissioners. No.
Yeah, make sure you sign up as the commissioner. Make sure you I'll do it all for you guys. Don't worry. And then,
Oh, yeah, he was the commissioner that year.
Tweak the score a little bit, here and there. A little bit of shady stuff going on, but that's what happens in the NFL too. So you just got to play ball.
It's not even a jab. Shout out to Joey G. Making money moves, business moves. Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. I'm not gonna play fantasy football with you ever again, but it's all good.
I would play with him again. I just think our league.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, Joey. Every time he watches our videos, at least sometimes we get live reactions. I don't necessarily think he knows what football is because whatever planet he's on when he's watching those videos might not have football. But if you're on planet Earth while you watch this one, just know we know you've been shady in fantasy.
Hey, it's all good, man.
Okay, so here I really have to demonstrate self-control here. I love Anthony Richardson. He's on the top of the board here. I already have 3 receivers and a running back. I don't think it's a bad play to take Anthony Richardson here.
This is not like you.
I'm not going to take it. I'm going to hold back a little bit here.
Maybe at the end of the turn.
That's a good point. If he comes back and it's in the 6th, maybe. But I'm eyeing Kyle Pitts right here. Kyle Pitts has been atrocious the past couple years in fantasy since he's been in the league. But Kirk Cousins, when he was in Minnesota, liked to throw to TJ Hawk a little bit. TJ Hawkinson was a solid fantasy option when he was healthy. Even with Jefferson on the team, I know there's a lot of weapons in Atlanta. But the fact of the matter, some quarterbacks like tight ends. Pause. Mainly Caleb Williams. Resume. But Kyle Pitts has the chance to be a top 5 tight end. Now, I understand that this pick could be a complete bust. Pause. But I'm going to take him anyway.
I think you like when players bust. What can you say? Oh, and there goes AR5 at the turn.
AR5.
Roma Dunze also. You want to talk about Roma Dunze just a little bit?
I love Roma Dunze as a player. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a big fantasy baller, but I love him as a player. He was one of those guys, we were talking earlier, there's always that one player for your team that you get projected in the mock drafts. This is the guy you're going to get. You never get him, but it's like you almost get your hopes and you get used to like this guy associated. This year for the Bills, it was Brian Thomas Jr., but for a while it was Roma Dunze early in the draft process, and then it got back to Roma Dunze when they got rid of Diggs and there were rumors the Bills were going to trade up. But comment that one player of your team in the past that you just knew 100% you guys were going to get him. You never ended up getting him. Let me know who that player is for your specific team. But it was Roma Dunze for a little bit for the Bills. I think he's a phenomenal player.
So we still thinking quarterback here, or what's the thought process?
Well, I see who the top quarterback on the board is, and I don't want him. I don't want Slim Shady. Nah.
No Slim Shady, no Slim Shiesty.
Another Bears receiver there. I don't like Keenan. I'm not going Keenan Allen there. I don't love James Conner. I don't love Christian Kirk. That leaves me with Scary Terry. And David Montgomery. Ooh. I could see benefits in both of them. What do I have right now? I need another running back, low key.
Yeah, you're not a big Christian Kirk guy, especially in the 6th round.
There's only one Kirk that I like, if you know what I mean.
It's true. Shout out Kirk. Hey, Kirk O'Chains.
This is the strategy that I like to employ here. I got a running back I'm interested in, a receiver I'm interested in. I'm looking at what the board looks like for these two positions going forward. So there's a couple of receivers in the next 15-ish receivers on the board that I really would like to have. There's not a ton of running backs in the next 15-ish running backs that I'd like to have. And I can't go 2 rounds without getting a running back, especially since I only have one right now. So I'm going to take David Montgomery here.
Yeah, definitely the smartest play out of all those options there.
Just
Even
safe.
If he does lose the lead running back spot, he's going to get so much opportunity and work in this offense. And it's a run-first offense, especially when you have Jared Goff at the quarterback.
Yeah.
But speaking of quarterback, if Dak Prescott was still here, I would still take Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Dak Prescott went off the board if you're listening on the podcast. So did Jordan Addison and Keenan Allen. Jordan Addison, I don't really.
Does teammate know that he falls asleep at the wheel?
Team 8 is probably a better teammate than Jordan Addison is.
I mean, as far as teammates' previous draft choices are concerned, seems like he fell asleep at the draft.
Oh yeah, teammates just trash. Now that I notice, Mahomes in the 3rd.
So we're not this good at fantasy football, guys. We're just playing against CPUs, and we set it on easy mode just to make ourselves look good while we grow this channel. So.
Yeah. No, I actually am really good at fantasy, and if any professional fantasy footballer wants me in their league, I will bet money, however much you want to bet. $1,000, $2,000, that number might max out pretty soon there. But I'll bet money I finish first in your league as long as we post the result at the end of the year. So if anyone wants to come at me, come on me. I mean,
whoa.
Next.
Anyways.
Thank you, next.
With my roster, I have everything filled except for flex and quarterback. I don't want to go another round without quarterback with all the choices I have left.
Yo, you could take Dawson Knox here.
Yeah, I do really like Dawson Knox, but just kidding, no, I don't.
He doesn't wash his hair.
Yeah, he only uses like conditioner or something.
Oh yeah, every once in a while. But he's got great hair.
That's so nasty. I mean, it looks good, but I wonder how it smells. I don't know. He seems like a pretty hygienic guy. What do you think?
I mean, he only catches 3 passes a game, so he can't get that dirty.
Yeah, he's irrelevant anyways. But
I like him, but
I was hoping Jordan Love would fall to me in the next round in my futuristic planning here. I don't want to bank on it because if he's not there, I have to go with Tua turn the ball over or Brock Purdy. It's kind of just the quarterback graveyard at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow here, and then hopefully have a nice young flex spot. That was the weirdest cough I've ever heard you cough in your life.
Yeah, I do that too. And the doctor's like, "Can you cough for me?" I'm like, "Bro, if you wanna do it, we can do it."
See, when I'm in a situation like that, I just get so nervous I can't cough. I'm like,
yeah, so, I accidentally my
but
pants
we
fall
got
off.
DeAndre Swift going new Chicago Bear.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I don't know.
Mid. Few MJF. Mid. I like Scary Terry after that, though. I like Terry McLaurin a lot.
I don't
like Kirk. Jayden Reed after him. Najee Harris, you're a bum. Hollywood Brown, maybe boom bust. Hollywood Brown.
I'm actually pretty bullish on Brown this year. I think he'll be good.
What do you keep saying? Bullish?
Bullish means I'm very confident in the player.
Bullish.
Bullish, yeah.
Oh, so that's not slang. That's a word?
Yeah.
Oh, bullish. Yeah. Is that a British word?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably think so.
I just have a bad feeling of like, I don't get along with British people because the last time I talked to one, they threatened to stab me.
Well, at least... You know.
At least our schools...
Well, at least our schools aren't bloody shooting ranges.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into politics, but I just know the events from a couple weeks ago, the United Kingdom were making fun of us really heavy for that. I just know.
Back around in the 7th round, here in the middle.
Bars.
I got to fill my flex spot. I'm looking at Evan Ingram. If I didn't have a tight end right now, I would probably pick Evan Ingram.
I don't know.
I think Evan Ingram is around so many weapons. I think last year he did pretty good for a tight end. If you get this far in the draft and you don't have a tight end, Evan Ingram, in my opinion, is a good pick.
Okay. I'm eyeing up. Rashi Rice and Xavier Worthy are very close to each other. Which of those two would you rather have?
I would most definitely have Xavier Worthy.
Is it because of off-the-field stuff, or...?
Well, both of them had off-the-field issues.
Yeah,
one didn't, potentially kill other people. It was kind of just, a...
Boys' night.
Comfortable on film, I guess.
Yeah, some people don't think that the internet sees everything like Ice Spice.
I hate to use the word bullish again. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit on this guy. His ADP's kind of been up and down because he is a rookie.
Is that the word of the day today on the dictionary?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely bullish. So I'm bullish on Ladd McConkey. I'm going to go with him here.
I love Ladd McConkey.
In my flex spot, Keenan Allen is not in LA anymore. And not only is Justin Herbert not going to be throwing the ball as much,
right,
but when he does, the dude loves throwing to the slot to Keenan Allen.
He does.
Ladd McConkey's taking over for Keenan Allen. Do I think that Ladd McConkey is going to be Keenan Allen? No. But this is my flex player as a rookie. Also a big tip for you guys, pause. When you are drafting rookies in ADP wherever they're at, expect them to outperform their ADP.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Ladd there.
Yeah, a little thing about the Chargers. Zoom in a little bit real quick. Let me tell you something about the Chargers. They are going to pound that thing this year. Pound it. Every single game. 2 top 5 offensive tackles, in my opinion. That's a hot take for Joel. I think he's a stud. And they don't really have receiving talent, but think about the Chargers when they did have receiving talent. Was Mike Williams ever a reliable fantasy option? No. So we can't rely on the X receiver. We don't even know who it is. Is it Quentin Johnson? Is it going to be Jim Harbaugh? We don't know who it is. We're not relying on that. Keenan Allen was reliable. Ladd McConkey's replacing him. They're going to pound that thing. And I think Justin Herbert maybe throws 20, 23 times a game. And, if you get 7 receptions from McConkey and 50, 60 yards, there was a time when Cole Beasley was on the Buffalo Bills in 2020. And that dude was a little sneaky fantasy player because it was 3rd and Beasley. Every time it was 3rd down, it was 3rd and Beasley. Where's Beasley at? Not getting vaccinated, but
Joey GUINTA.
Getting open.
If you think Jay Herbo's so good, why did Harbaugh come in LA and big league the boys say you getting 15 less pass attempts this year? Step aside.
I think actually Herbert's going to be really happy about that.
Yeah, probably.
Herbert's probably super thrilled that he doesn't have to get beat to a bloody pulp this year.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're at the 7-11.
Back up. Jordan Love went the pick before me, and we got a couple people on the board. Right now, I have 3 receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end. I really can go anywhere at this point. I'm going to take a peek at the available quarterbacks, and I don't like them.
Slim Pickens. Let's see who we have here. This is what you get for passing on Slim Shiesty.
I'm just going to break it down from a fundamental standpoint real quick. Evan Ingram at the top, don't love it. Already have a tight end. Brock Bowers, don't love it, and already have a tight end. Calvin Ridley, Rashee Rice, mid. Raheem Mostert, definitely some boom bust there. Obviously, when you have a chance to be the RB1, if someone gets hurt, that's very enticing. I'm really surprised he's not higher on this board. And
really? He's so old.
But he had a great year last year.
I know. He keeps playing good. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Nick Chubb. And I think that's all I'm looking at here. And I might very soon have more running backs than receivers. I think this is going to be the safer pick to take Mostert first. We'll see who these two go here. Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram. It's back to me. Now, here's the thing about Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb still exists. I forgot.
Nick Chubb is still living and breathing. You had to kill him. if you wanted to stop him. That dude is still going to be a beast. Maybe not right away. Now, I could expect first 4 weeks, he's not going to be performing.
I honestly expect him to be back. Ladd McConkey is not making me as happy as he used to anymore now that I remembered Nick Chubb exists.
Yeah, he's kind of my Alvin. Now, this didn't work out, but he's kind of my Alvin Kamara of this year. Alvin Kamara was like, I want that guy. I don't want to pick him too high, but I also know some people are also eyeing him. So I was trying to get him around that 7th round range last year. I didn't get him, and it ended up working out for me, but he had a couple good games. But I think Nick Chubb is, when they were both healthy, better than Alvin Kamara. And the Cleveland Browns still rely on running the football a lot because they know their pass rushers are going to get them the ball back. So I think Nick Chubb is just a safe gamble.
Absolutely, especially in the 8th round, correct?
Yeah, we got Rashee Rice. We got the new Carolina RB1, Brooks, Bowers, Benson. I do not know why Trey Benson just went off the board, but that leads you.
Hey, it's Team 7. You got Higgins, Prescott, Godwin, and Benson. Just mid.
Yeah, Team 7 and Team 8. Maybe that's a bad spot to draft. I usually like drafting around like the late middle part of the draft. I really hate drafting first. I hate drafting second, and then everything else is doable for me. I just think when you draft first or second, you rely so much on having to hit. In fact, the matter is, unless you're Chase Ingram, a guy in our league that took Cam Akers in the first round 2 years ago, believe it or not, and actually thought that was a good pick. Unless you're him, the first 3 rounds, it's going to be really tough to miss, especially the first 2. So if you're drafting first, you really have to hit. And it's not going to be whether you pick the right guy or not. It's going to be whether you pick the guy that got hurt or not. Because, I don't know, you look at rounds 1 and 2, 3 of those dudes are going to have injuries. And you better hope one of them is not on your team.
We're getting to the part in the draft where I enjoy a lot, where my preparation is being shown in fruits of the picks that I choose here. We have Javonte Williams, Zach Moss, RB1, maybe RB1 for Cincinnati. We talked about Chase Brown a little bit last time.
You don't believe that?
I think it'll start as a 50-50 split. Duke Tobin, which is the GM for the Bengals, has been talking about Chase Brown lately, and the dude does not talk about players like that. So if that means anything to you, take it for what you want. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. As far as metrics go, I said this last time. I feel like I'm beating a dead drum, but Chase Brown is super explosive, super athletic, 2nd fastest running back in the league behind Devon Achane. So I think he's going to have a really good year. Second half of the season when Jake Browning stepped in, he had a lot of good big plays. I'm looking at Zach Moss, Javonte Williams. We got DeAndre Hopkins. We got Brian Thomas Jr. and the Jags.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, I think, threw his career away when he went to Tennessee. Maybe he has a bounce-back year. He had a great game the first game Levis stepped in. But DeAndre Hopkins, maybe I'm a little bitter as a Bills fan, but you can't. I was going to say you shouldn't. You can't go and say that you prioritize winning and want to play with a really good quarterback and you don't care about the money when you have the chance to pick your team last year and then pick the Titans. You can't do that. You can't.
Yeah.
Just say you want the money. And J.J. Watt did the same thing. He said, I want to win a Super Bowl. No, you don't. You want the money.
I cannot believe he was saying, this is a quarterback. These are the quarterbacks I want to play for. It's Josh Allen and whoever else he said, and then he goes to the Titans. It's like,
it's like,
he looks stupid, but you know. But all these names down the list, there's also Christian Watson I like a lot. More than Jayden Reed for touchdown reasons in the red zone as well, and also experience. But when you see Keon Coleman on the board with these guys, especially him being a rookie, you just look at targets. He's going to get more targets than all these dudes. So that's easy for me. I'm going to go Keon Coleman.
This dude's a big Bills fan, as you can tell. You're assembling
This is my third bill.
I've always thought, I've always wanted to do that just as a joke one year and see how they do. Just assemble a team where you have to draft everyone in that team. And the first challenge would be make sure you can get them all and someone doesn't take someone from you. So you have to kind of be strategic. Yeah. But also see if you can succeed with it. I don't think the Bills are one of those teams where you'd have success, but like the Niners, you could definitely get away with it.
Yeah, definitely. Coming around the turn here, back in the middle of round 9.
Yeah, Mr. Butterfingers, Zach Moss, Njoku, Brian Thomas, Javonte. I love Jalen Warren. I think that's a great pick. We'll see if Mike Tomlin's an idiot this year and decides to bench Najee or not, but it's kind of dependent on that.
Yeah, I'm going to grab a little bit of stability here. I saw a lot of cool wide receivers that I liked, the Brian Thomas Jr.'s of the world and players of that esque. But I'm going to go with some stability at running back. I'm going to go with the new starting RB1 for the LA Chargers. Gus the Bus.
I like that too, and I actually was just thinking about him and Dobbins. I don't know if
Why is everyone saying that he's going to be the RB1?
I don't. That's what I'm concerned about. Is I think they're going to pound it. But, like, I don't know what the share percentage is going to be. I also don't know, like, Edwards has been hurt. J.K. Dobbins has been hurt. They're both, I wouldn't say injury prone, but they've been hurt. So, I don't know. I know J.K.'s coming back from an Achilles. Maybe that's what they're fearful of. I really don't know. I'd love to have both of them if it was a really deep draft.
They've both gotten hurt. Like, Gus will step in, then he gets hurt too, and then it's like, whoever. It's like...
It could go one of two ways. It could either be a New Orleans Saints situation when they had Ingram and Kamara both putting up 20 a game, or it could be they both stink, or it could be one of them just obliterates the other one, and then you're going to be either really happy or really disappointed in your pick.
Yeah, definitely. As far as health goes, I'm definitely leaning Gus, aside from the fact that he's the RB1 technically right now, but that's my basis behind that. We got Eckler. Not big on Eckler. I don't think you are either. And then Tua.
Guys, it might be time. It might be time. I'm looking at this quarterback board.
Pick 9-11.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
Wow. This is... Wow. I barely got to see the 9/11 memorial for the first time this weekend.
I did see the 9/11 memorial. Someone was being very disrespectful to the monument as well. Trying to take thirst trap Instagram pictures is just disgusting.
Dude, thirst trap Instagram pictures on the 9/11 memorial is heinous.
Heinous, yeah. It's crazy. No words.
Okay, so I'm just looking at this right now. I was seeing if I value any of these quarterbacks extremely over the others. I think Goff is safe. I think Jayden Daniels and Herbert are a little risky. I think Trevor Lawrence is Garbo. I think Kirk, Stafford are safe. I think Rodgers is volatile. And then we get into the next, I guess, backups. You have to have those guys as backups. But as far as player talent goes, like I kind of want to get a quarterback on the swing back here. But I'm looking at, I really can't afford to take another running back here. And there's not really receivers that I like. I'm not as big on Jamison Williams as Bailey is.
I mean, I'm not huge on J-Mo. I just know dude is going to be a good fill-in player for a receiver on the bye or something of that sort. He's not outperforming Amon-Ra St. Brown's. Look at J-Mo as maybe a step down from T. Higgins. Honestly, if I can compare him to any fantasy player, as far as consistency goes that I predict, like a Christian Kirk. And if you can have a Christian Kirk on your bench, it's going to be so valuable, especially down the line come playoff time.
This is my thing is some people like players where you don't know what you're going to get. And we talked about Kittle a little bit earlier. I think Jameson Williams is one of those guys too. Like you could have a great game out of him, but like, do I ever want to have a player on my team where I just don't have confidence whether he's going to have a good game or a bad game? I try to stay away from those types of players. This is the point of the draft. I usually try to follow the board and try to just look maybe 10, 15 picks ahead of everyone. This is the time of the draft where I think you just go get the guys you want.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on this board that I want, and I didn't get his teammate earlier, and I want him. And he's been consistent, and he gets targeted a lot, and until he proves me otherwise, he's one of these guys that I'd love to have on my team every single year. I'm going to take Tyler Lockett.
Wow. I'm not big on Tyler Lockett. I think JSN's definitely going to step up above him. I don't think anyone's pushing DK for that alpha spot, even though DK has struggled in the past. But
but
you're going to get your receptions out of Lockett for sure.
Yeah, there's 3 receivers on the field is a depth piece. DK gets hurt sometimes. No one's taking DK's spot because he's the X. Lockett and JSN aren't going to be the X receiver for you. It's kind of like Keon Coleman, your pick last round. There are some better weapons, I think, that Bills are going to utilize other than Keon Coleman. And I think Khalil Shakir is one of them. I think Dalton Kincaid's one of them. I think Curtis Samuel's one of them. But the fact of the matter is not one of those guys is a threat to that X position. Keon Coleman is walking into the X spot and probably going to be on the field all the time. And that can lead to good things if you're on the field all the time. His competition for the X spot right now are Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Chase Claypool and Matt Collins. And Matt Collins is a special teamer. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling is there for one reason only, and that's to stretch the field and to put the shicey glasses on Josh Allen.
Saw Josh Allen in the shicey glasses. I understand if you want to be like Joe Burrow, just don't make it that obvious. But, you know.
So now I really need a quarterback because I kind of want to double up on this little run that I think is going to happen here of backups.
You know how to double it?
I'm going to take Jared Goff. I had him last year, as we mentioned earlier, and the clock strikes again.
We are on the clock in round 10. We're moving. It feels like this has gone super fast. We're having fun here.
Yeah,
TJ Hawkinson at the 10.
Yeah, we got some value trash coming off the board here.
I'm kind of regretting picking Kincaid here. I didn't think there'd be this much tight end availability, but then I remember Kincaid's probably going to be the tight end 1 this year. I also agree.
Yeah, he's going to be the number 1 receiver for the Bills unanimously.
Maybe top 3 floor, honestly.
Definitely top 5 floor, for sure. I don't see the potential for anyone to be above him other than maybe Kelsey, Laporta, maybe Andrews. I'm not seeing McBride. I'm not seeing Kittle. I love Pitts. I'm not seeing Pitts. So.
I mean, a lot of people don't realize Kincaid didn't get going until that Bengals game. It was a close game, and he had a touchdown. That fumble sucked. But
yeah. And tight ends take a longer time to acclimate a lot of times. So the fact that he already has had half of a solid season, the other half was, I wouldn't say bad, it was just serviceable. A lot of times you get a full season of serviceable, maybe a second season of serviceable before they start to have solid seasons. So
yeah, and that's how it was for T. Higgins' rookie year, and Kincaid didn't go off until week 8. So I think if he would have broken out earlier that year, you would have been right there with Laporta, maybe even better, especially as far as receptions are concerned. Looking at, we got TJ Hawkinson down here. Ezekiel Elliott is going to be the RB1 for Dallas this year.
Are we running it back?
Man, I don't...
Feed Zeke.
I don't know, man. I think this is a pretty easy pick for me. I'm going to go with A.D. Mitchell.
I like A.D. Mitchell, and I was thinking about him last round, honestly, but I have Michael Pittman, so I'm not going to take him. But yeah. A.D. Mitchell, we talked about him last video, too. I don't want to beat it into the ground again, but I like him a lot. I think it was character issues that started to, as the draft got closer, hold him back a little bit. But he's a good receiver. I think he's a great receiver.
Yeah, I think definitely better than Xavier Worthy, also, who's his college teammate.
Got Hawkinson finally coming off the board here. Zeke. Bailey's not big on Zeke. Zeke Elliott had a couple good weeks last year for the Patriots where he put up 18, 20 points.
I'm a Dak fan. I hope he does well. I wish Jerry Jones cared more about his franchise than he actually does.
Yeah, I saw a report today that the reason the contracts have been held up, everyone's been wondering when CeeDee Lamb is going to get paid, and I think CeeDee Lamb is the most antsy of anyone. Apparently the reason is CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons both want to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and Dallas doesn't know what to do because they don't want to anger either of them, which, like, that's just a circus show. Like, I don't even know how you get out of that because you need both of them. And I don't know if they're, like, butting heads to each other's faces or if it's just kind of, like, behind the back. Like, yo,
they're agents.
Throw me a couple $100,000 extra so I can say at practice that, I'm the higher paid player. But
I could see Micah Parsons playing more into that game, especially with how he acts with CJ Stroud on certain videos and podcasts.
Yeah. And if I would be fearful, honestly. If I was CD, I'd take my $32 million a year. I'd let Micah get his 34, and then I wouldn't have to worry about him harassing me in the locker room.
If I'm CD, I might want to just get out of Dallas, maybe.
Yeah, if I was CD, I might want to go play with my cousin.
True. Who's his cousin?
Keon Coleman.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah. Wow, that's don't look alike. Keon Coleman's definitely bigger than CD.
They both are like borderline weird looking though.
CeeDee Lamb's weird looking.
I think he's kind of weird. Like his teeth are weird or something.
Hot take.
I don't know. Like I think he kind of looks like the guy off the Cracker Jack. Not the Cracker Jack. I think he kind of looks like the guy off the Apple Jacks box.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely gives me cinnamon stick vibes.
Cinnamon stick. Yeah. And Keon Coleman just kind of looks like he bites people.
Yes. Yeah. Especially, I know for a fact he was biting kids on the playground when he was a kid, for sure. But I saw Blake Corum go 2 picks before mine, which sucks. I was definitely going to take him there. Looking down the list, we got Chase Brown looking right at me in the eyeballs.
Yeah.
He wants me to take him.
You would have taken him 2 rounds ago.
No, I don't think I'm taking Chase Brown before the 10th in any situation, because as much as I do like him, it's just not a smart play for fantasy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm saying that because I play in a league with him and I'm lying, but I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. I don't think it's smart. Even if you do like guys, it's very important to measure ADP before you go into a draft so you can plan ahead, because there's no value in going getting your guys in the 7-8 rounds.
Yeah, and you already have the 3 top options for the Bills, so maybe you should just take Khalil Shakir and have the whole Bills roster.
It's making me feel better that I can't take Khalil Shakir here because
bars.
That rhymed. Bars. I'm a poet. I don't know it.
Bars.
I guess I can pick Chase Brown here because that would make me have 4 Bills players on my team if I did take Khalil. So Chase Brown, I think at the 11th, we've been talking about him. Perfect place to take him. Maybe ideally in the 12th. I was on a lot of people's boards. Maybe that Duke Tobin is talking more about Chase is why, but you can't argue with that.
Yep. So we had Khalil Shakir, Trevor Lawrence, Cole Kmet, Jacoby Myers come off. All right, coming around into the swing of the 11th and into the 12th here, I don't mind taking another quarterback. I'm not big on taking them early, like I said, but I like getting 2 in the middle range, especially if they're guys who have potential. I love the idea of Kirk here and Matthew Stafford, but the fact that I'm pretty equal on both of them, I'm probably just going to find a position player that I value here, which may be a little bit of an issue. I like Xavier Legette as a player. I like listening to him talk. I think he's a great person from what I've seen. Legette. But I don't necessarily trust that little dude that's throwing him the football down in Carolina.
Yeah, very, very tiny man.
Don't mind Jerry Jeudy. I think he's a good player as well.
Did you see Bryce Young walking into camp?
He looks like a toddler. Yeah, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young getting ready for his first day of school.
He's such a nerd too.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, it's definitely slim pickings in this stage of the draft, and this is why preparing is so important, because we did not prepare. We're having fun with you guys there. We're learning as we go. I don't think I would have picked a lot of players that Team 7 and Team 8 picked, but you know.
So I'm looking at what position is a big gap for me right now. The gap between Luke Musgrave and all the tight ends after him for me is pretty big, and I don't see gaps like that for other positions, just to give you my thought process there. So I'm going to go Luke Musgrave, another rookie tight end last year, came out of Oregon State, I believe. Definitely the most of vertical threat ability of anyone that came out. The tight end class was so loaded last year in the draft. So many tight ends that were very good.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't clip that. But Jordan Love going into his 3rd year, 4th year?
Yeah, 3rd year.
5th year? Isn't he in the same draft class as Burrow?
Did he play his first year last year?
Well, no, he didn't. Okay. So he's going into
he played half a year. 3rd year.
3rd year?
Because he started some games before last year.
Was he not in the draft class as Burrow?
He was, but he didn't play because Rodgers.
Right. Okay.
So technically it's his 3rd year.
Yeah, okay. So Luke Musgrave, a newer quarterback on the rise. A lot of times they take advantage of tight ends. And I think Caleb Williams for sure will this year. If any of the Bears receivers I like, it's Cole Kmet because he's a tight end. So now I'm going to go where I wanted to go. Now I have to make a decision between Kirk and Stafford. Once again, if I was really doing this for real, I'd really take a quick check at bye weeks. But just for sake of this, I'm just going to take which of the two I think is a better option. I already have a quarterback that I think is very, very safe in Jared Goff. I think Stafford is also safe. So I'm going to go with a guy who's a little bit more volatile. I'm going to take Kirk because I think he has the potential to do really well and the potential to be QB 18, maybe.
We got Xavier Legette going right before when I wanted him. I love the fact that I'm drafting rookies here. I got Chase Brown, A.D. Mitchell, and Keon Coleman. Mm-hmm. Very big on drafting rookies. Get your rookies in your draft. It's always going to work out for you as long as you get a few of them. This is as late round struggle as it gets, guys. Yeah. I might go back up. Quarterback here. I might go back up tight end here. Yeah. What do tight ends look like?
They're all pretty bad.
We got Taysom Hill. I could go backup quarterback and tight end. Yeah, you know. I honestly just want to do it just to do it. But Isaiah Likely, also a good tight end option. I mean, Mark Andrews is coming back off the injury, but he's getting kind of old.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. Like some people, I know people that play, they love getting handcuffs. Isaiah Likely is not going to have a good year unless Andrews gets hurt. But if he does, he's going to be a really good tight end to have. I feel like if I was you here, I'd take the quarterback, one of the two, because I think that there's a big drop-off after these two.
Yeah, I still think like there's some handcuffing I can do.
Yeah, but what if Burrow gets hurt? You don't want a handcuff. You need someone that can step in and you know is going to play. You don't know Rodgers, actually. If I was you, I'm taking Stafford.
Yeah, I was thinking Rodgers, but I don't know if Rodgers will make it past 4 snaps. He did it last year.
You would have 2 injury-prone quarterbacks.
I'm going to go with Joshua Palmer here. I think he's going to do a lot in the Chargers offense.
Yeah.
Usually would like to draft a rookie in this area. You can never get too many. But I think Quentin Johnson is coming into camp as the wide receiver 4, I believe.
Garbage.
And there's a lot of high hopes for Joshua Palmer to an extent. So I'm going to go with Josh Palmer here. We're in the 12.7 pick here.
This is where you start shooting shots. You know, this is in the club, 150 a.m. You got to shoot it.
Got to.
Anyone with potential. There goes Pearsall. And speaking of NFL in the news right now, Brandon Ayuk has officially requested a trade. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is worthy to note. Ricky Pearsall, as of right now, stands as wide receiver 3. If Ayuk goes, he's probably going to be wide receiver 2. And I'm actually interested. I have no idea where AIYUK would go at this point. Like, if you had to bet money on where Brandon AIYUK would go, what would you say?
I definitely don't think he'll stay in San Francisco after this year.
For sure. But if he got traded this year.
I also don't see the Steelers taking him as a free agent. The Steelers just don't really do that.
Steelers love divas. They love receivers like that.
They're so good at drafting wide receivers. They'll just draft in their guy. He's pushing top 10. I mean, he'll definitely get paid as a top 10 receiver. So
yeah,
I don't think the Steelers are going to buy into that at all. As much as I hate the Steelers and I hope they don't do that, I don't think they will.
I think the Patriots want him most. I just don't know if they're willing to give exactly what the Niners want, or maybe the Niners don't want to deal with the Patriots, which wouldn't make sense. But from reports that I've heard, the Patriots want him most. And I would love, even though the Patriots are in our division, I would love to see the Patriots get Brandon AIYUK. I think they could do a lot of damage with him. Speaking
of the Steelers, I'm going to go with Roman Wilson here.
Roman Wilson, 13th. Rookie. He's a little small guy from Michigan.
I think he could break out and be a Deontay Johnson producing level player. Mm-hmm. We're in the stage of the draft. These are just dart throws, you know?
Right. I don't even know B. Sinat. I don't even know. Deshaun Watson got drafted, so that's how you know. You know, it's starting to get dart throwy. We're
in the 13th round of the draft. I don't know if I'd take Deshaun Watson in the 15th round of this draft. Shout out Team 9, man.
I really wanted J.K. Dobbins. I was going to throw my dart at him. He's not here anymore. Top of the board is Jahan Dotson. Don't love it. Can't take quarterback.
I like Jahan Dotson. I think Jahan Dotson is someone who could be a late bloomer and break out soon. We were talking about him earlier today.
Maybe. I don't know. I do like this guy down here, though, with the potential to be wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots. Give me Jalen Polk out of Washington.
Jalen Polk, good on you for drafting a rookie.
Yeah, I'll take the rookie. He got overshadowed a little bit because he had Rome Odunze and another McKinnon or something like that. I definitely am butchering that. Someone let me know the name, the other Washington receiver, but he's a good receiver, honestly. And I don't know, they took him in the second. It's the Patriots, right? Like, they don't have receivers. I think Juju on the beat is number 1 for them.
Juju on that beat, yeah. Definitely can take over that whole wide receiver core easily when you have Juju meet Schuster or Smith-Schuster right there, so.
And I really dislike this draft board right now. I'm going to take a guy. This is a handcuff right here. Now, I think this guy's going to be a main contributor, but not in fantasy. So I'm going to take him as a handcuff. I think he might eat up a couple touchdowns. Not the type of guy that I expect to ever have a great week for me, but in a bye week type week, I might rely on him to get a touchdown to get his 10 points for the week. I think he's a great player, though. I'm going to take Ray Davis for the Bills. And if James Cook gets hurt for whatever reason, I think this dude's going to be a pretty big fantasy contributor.
Yeah, I'm going to grab my backup quarterback here. I don't want to wait too long.
Lots of options.
I'm going to take a guy with maybe not too much consistency, but just a huge cannon and a quick release. Give me Will Levis.
Yeah, Will Levis, your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend is hot, okay? She's hot. You get it?
Do you get that?
She's hot.
Do you get that? All right.
Wow, Quentin Johnson got drafted. That is incredible.
And I'm looking at receivers right now because I would like another receiver. Elijah Mitchell, Dameon Pierce. It's not fun. It's not enticing here. So
not having a good time.
We got Adam Thielen. I didn't know he's still kicking.
Oh, I forgot about Thielen. Yeah, he had a good year last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
He had a great year last year. Why is he so low?
I still wouldn't draft him. I just don't like drafting old players like that.
Yeah, I don't know, though.
Xavier Legette also coming in. I don't think Thielen will be able to.
They don't play the same position, really, though. Xavier Legette is their ex. Like, he's going to be out wide. Adam Thielen is just dicing guys up on the inside. I like Adam Thielen. If you don't take him, I think Team 7 sucks. They're not going to take him. Team 9 will take him if you don't take him. And if they don't, I will.
This is what I'll say. I've changed my mind. You've changed my mind, sir.
I owed you one.
I love throwing this back in your face, and I appreciate you helping me pick Adam Thielen here. So I actually love Adam Thielen, so that'll be my last pick of the draft.
Solid last pick. I'm seeing who's coming up here. Elijah Mitchell went. I was thinking about him, another handcuff. I didn't really want to have to make that decision, though, as far as handcuffs go. I should probably take someone who has potential here. I don't love doing the handcuff thing over and over and over again. There's 2 players that I'm looking at. Give me a little bit of intrigue. No one else really gives me anything. No one's really doing it for me. The 2 that I'm looking at are Malachi Corley and Jermaine Burton, both rookie receivers. Bailey might make another comment that he likes rookie receivers. He also likes Jermaine Burton. I do too. I think he's going to be good. I don't really even see the issues off the field or whatever that garbage was before the draft becoming an issue. I just am always skeptical of vertical receivers in the NFL and how they transition. I'm also skeptical because he has 2 great receivers on the team next to him, and he's got depth behind him. Malachi Corley is also going to be going in as probably wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 with the Jets, but Mike Williams has a little bit of a thing where he likes to get hurt.
Yeah.
But then again, they might trade for Devontae. So it's really tough for me. I think if I didn't take Garrett Wilson earlier, I'd take Malachi Corley. But since I didn't, I'm going to take Jermaine Burton from the Bengals.
Yeah, if you're in a keeper league, I think Jermaine Burton late is just money in the bank for you.
Right. Money in the bank. Like your name, Tiffany Stratton.
Speaking of money in the bank, this isn't Money in the Bank, but this is SummerSlam. We're going to be going to SummerSlam here soon.
Ooh,
probably.
That's a good transition because we did want to do a couple announcements at the end. SummerSlam upcoming. Do we think we're going to film some content there? I think wrestling fans just give great content.
I think we have to.
Yeah, we have to. Please let us know. Hopefully we'll get this video. We definitely will get this video posted before we leave. Let us know if you're wrestling fans, what types of questions you want to see us ask people. Maybe there's festivities we don't know about. Just let us know. If you're going to be there and you want to meet up and be a part of an interview or whatever, let us know as well. SummerSlam is probably the second biggest event in sports of the year as far as like attendance goes, I would guess.
Yeah, probably.
Behind WrestleMania.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's coming up. Like I mentioned earlier, we are looking to do a fantasy creator league, and we are in the act. I think we have about 7 teams confirmed for it right now. Even if we confirm 12, it's still a difficult process because we have to kind of get a time set up. It's going to be a live draft, and this is the reason we wanted to do it, is we want to be able to live record reactions from all these creators, hopefully 12 of them at once. It's probably going to be a really long video. It's going to be a long draft. It's probably going to be a multiple night process, but it's going to be really fun for us. It's going to be really fun for you guys to see insight from people that all are interested in football. Because I think a lot of times people that play in fantasy football leagues, like you're lucky if you have 7 or 8 guys in that league that know something.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Quick recap of your draft. You got Garrett Wilson in the first round. Not too big on Wilson in the first round. Dude is still a baller, though. Not too much tape behind him. I can see him being the best wide receiver in the league next year. It could totally happen. Kyron Williams, can't argue with that. We got Pittman, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Pitts, David Montgomery, Raheem Mostert, Nick Chubb. I love that pick, especially in the 8th round. Tyler Lockett, Jared Goff, Luke Musgraves, Kirk Cousins, Jalen Polk. I know it's not Jalen Polk, but I like it.
It's like Jalen Hurts.
R. Davis. What's his first name?
Ray.
Yeah, he a bum. I don't know your name.
Ray Davis.
I got
was so upset when they drafted him because I hoped he
what
had
round
a cooler
did they take
name.
him?
I think it was the 4th.
4th
if
round.
I'm correct. We took a
That's
D
a lot of
tackle in the
stock in a
3rd.
running back, especially for the Bills. 4th
Yeah,
round.
it's 4th. It wasn't later than the 5th. I guarantee that, but it was 4th or 5th. We had a couple 4ths though, so I think it was the 4th. I know the names of all the players drafted. I kind of just forgot where we took them.
Finishing off your draft, Jermaine Burton, you know how I feel about that, but very, very solid team. I think better than your last draft.
Yeah, okay.
Especially with Nick Chubb off the bench. It's crazy to me, but
yeah, I just love loading up on those skill position players because if one of them hits, that's great. If 2 of them hits, it's even better. 3 of them hit. If you got 3 hits, low-key are not a TikTok artist anymore.
You're not Tommy Richmond.
All right, taking a peek at your draft here. Jetta's in the 1st. Can't go wrong. Like same with my philosophy earlier. You can't really go wrong in the 1st or the 2nd, but you somehow managed to go wrong in the 2nd. I don't like Travis Etienne. I just don't like him. He doesn't do it for me. I don't love the Jacksonville offense. I also hate Jacksonville. I also hate the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I hate Trevor Lawrence. So, moving on. Mike Evans in the 3rd. Steal. Love Mike Evans. Mike Evans is just consistent, dude. One of my favorite players. James Cook in the 4th, I don't mind at all. I think Dalton Kincaid in the 5th might be the best per value pick in this whole fantasy simulation. We've already talked a little bit about that. Burrow in the 7th, I don't hate. I think if he's healthy all year, he's going to be a solid quarterback. Just, I don't love the idea of taking someone who there's a little bit of a risk behind that early in the quarterback position. I just like doubling up late in the draft, but that's just my philosophy. He obviously has the potential to be top 3 quarterback in fantasy if he stays healthy and if they ball out. They have a really easy schedule, which you may think that could create for a lot of points, but it also could do the opposite because if you play crappy teams, sometimes you get ahead and it's over. Like, you don't really do that shootout thing. I think that's why Josh Allen is consistently a good fantasy quarterback. Like the Bills defense is just like, hey guys, this game's not over yet. We're going to let them back in. But after that, Ladd McConkey I like a lot too. I think I kind of put you onto him. I don't know if that's correct or not, but
I wouldn't say so.
We got on a little bit of a rookie rampage here with McConkey, Coleman, Mitchell.
How do you feel about the volume of my rookies, first of all?
The volume of your rookies. What do I mean? What do you mean volume?
You think I drafted too many rookies, or is that a thing?
I don't think it matters. I do agree with you. Like, taking rookies is good, but I don't think it matters how much. Like, I don't think you can have too many rookies. I just go off of what I think they're going to do. I'm not huge on the Keon Coleman pick. I love Keon Coleman as a character. I pray for his success. I think he's going to have about 500, 600 yards this year. Just one of those guys that I think probably going to get a little bit late to the ball. And maybe a solid player in a bye week, but if you have to rely on him being a starter, I don't love that, just because I think the Bills' offense is going to be a lot like the Patriots has been in fantasy the last 10 years, where it's like, we don't know who's getting we know Gronk's getting the ball. We can play Gronk in fantasy. We can play Brady. We can play Josh Allen. We can play Kincaid. Outside of that, I don't know who's getting the ball that week. There's so many options, and I love that as a fan, but I would stay away from Bills players in fantasy if I was you, other than Kincaid and Allen. Going down further, Gus Edwards, like that pick. I was hoping you were going to try to double it with J.K. Dobbins a couple rounds later.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm just done with J.K.
It's just like a 2-for-1. It's kind of a waste of a pick, but you're also most likely guaranteed to get the lead back for a run-heavy team.
And I'm barely more confident in Gus than J.K., so it's like, just give me one of them and we'll see what happens. And if it fails, it fails. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good dart throw. A.D. Mitchell, I like a lot as a player. I think you killed it in the middle of this draft. I don't love the beginning rounds, but like I said before, I'd be hypocritical if I'm judging you off the first couple rounds. They don't usually matter.
Yeah.
And then the late rounds, I don't know. Like Chase Brown, maybe. Palmer, maybe. Roman Wilson, maybe. Will Levis is a solid backup quarterback. I like that pick. And then Thielen, I love. I actually will take 50% credit for that pick. But yeah, I think that's a great pick. I would say your best picks per value in order, probably Kincaid, Thielen, Mike Evans. Pretty solid draft.
Sure, appreciate it. That's all we got for you guys today. Make sure to check us out on all social media platforms. Other than Facebook, we're working on getting that one going.
Yeah, just started X. If you're on X, you want to check it out. Have Instagram, TikTok, we're going to be back on probably starting tomorrow, and hopefully TikTok doesn't do us dirty. And then obviously YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast platform right now, go check out the YouTube, really close to 200. The sooner we can get to 1,000, the sooner we can start doing a lot of cool things as far as interactions with fans, live streams, all sorts of different capabilities, creator fun, stuff like that. So we really appreciate that.
And also, speaking of that realm, as far as capabilities go, the more we can do that, the more we can stream with you guys and be more interactive. Maybe get on Twitch. The possibilities are very wide.
It's very wide, And if we're, like you said before, we might be in Cleveland next week. So make sure you tune in for some content. It's probably not all going to get it posted at that time, but there's going to be a lot of content to post. So ideally, we want to get as many videos out for you in a week as we can, just to kind of touch different parts of the YouTube sphere and see what kind of sticks. Thanks for stopping in for your daily cup check.
Make sure to keep that ball rolling.
We'll see you next time.
See you.